Have you ever wondered why some people manage money so well while others struggle? Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a financial rut, no matter how hard you try to save and invest? Here's some good news. The Psychology of Money by Housel, which has sold over 4 million copies, isn't your typical finance book filled with dry numbers and complex language. Instead, it explores the psychology behind our money habits and behaviors. I've gathered 10 key lessons from the book to offer you a sneak peek into its most valuable insights, aiming to assist you in managing your finances better. Here's the first lesson: DNA. Each of us carries a unique set of beliefs about money, shaped by our own journeys through life. What seems like madness to one person might be perfectly logical to another. It's not about intelligence or access to information. It's about the diverse tapestry of experiences that color our perceptions. As the saying goes, your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.001% of what's happened in the world, but maybe 80% of how you think the world works. So it's crucial to recognize that our individual experiences only offer a tiny glimpse into the vast complexity of global economics. That's why when it comes to investing, it's essential to focus on our goals and the available options, rather than solely relying on our past experiences. The world is in a constant state of flux, and clinging too tightly to the lessons of the past can blind us to the opportunities of the present. By embracing a forward-thinking approach, we can adapt to the ever-changing landscape of finance and make decisions that align with our current circumstances. Lesson number 2, luck and risk. Luck and risk, they're like the hidden puppeteers of our lives, pulling strings we often don't even see. You know that saying, nothing is as good as or as bad as it seems? Well, it's like a secret code to deciphering the mysteries of success and failure. Picture this: not every triumph is a result of blood, sweat, and tears, and not every setback is because someone was lazy. We like to think it's all about hard work and skill, but the truth is, luck and risk often hold more sway over our destinies than we care to admit. Imagine you're in this colossal game with billions of players and countless variables, and sometimes it's the unexpected twists of fate that decide the game. Let's take a peek at Bill Gates' journey. Sure, the guy was brilliant, dedicated, and had a knack for computers, but here's the kicker: he was also blessed with a stroke of luck. I mean, what are the odds of attending a high school that had a computer back when they were as rare as unicorns? Slim, right? Like 1 in a million slim. And then there's his buddy Kent Evans, cut from the same cloth, equally passionate about tech, but fate dealt him a different hand. A tragic end on a mountaineering expedition before he could even finish high school. Talk about the cruel roll of the dice. Now, when you look at the big shots, billionaires, CEOs, all those high rollers, it's like trying to untangle a ball of yarn. What's luck? What's skill? What's risk? It's a tangled mess. So instead of playing copycat with their lives, we're better off studying the broader strokes of success and failure. You know, spotting the common threads that weave through different stories. Like, it's not exactly easy to replicate Warren Buffett's investment magic because, let's face it, he's like the unicorn of investors. But understanding that folks who control their time tend to be happier, that's a gem you can work with. And here's the kicker: realizing that luck and risk are the unsung heroes, or villains, of our tales, well, it changes the game. It keeps our egos in check when things are looking rosy and stirs up a healthy dose of empathy when life decides to throw us a curveball. So remember, whether you're riding high or weathering the storm, you're neither a superhero nor a lost cause. You're just another player in the grand game of life, where luck and risk hold the cards. Lesson number 3, saving your savings rate. Let's break it down. You might think making big bucks or scoring high investment returns is the golden ticket to wealth, but surprise, it's not. It's all about how much of your moolah you're stashing away. Picture this: you're on a ship sailing towards a treasure island. Your savings rate is the wind filling your sails. It propels you forward. Without it, you're just drifting aimlessly. But fear not, you don't need a chest overflowing with gold coins to start saving. It's more about how much of what you earn you keep, rather than how much you earn. Now, let's talk about how to beef up those savings. Step 1, spend less. Yep, it's that simple. And to spend less, you've got to want less. That means caring less about keeping up with the Joneses and more about securing your own financial future. But here's the kicker: you don't even need a specific goal in mind for your savings. Think of it as a safety net, a secret stash for those rainy days. It's like having a superpower, giving you the freedom to wait for the perfect moment to strike. Imagine having the flexibility to seize opportunities as they come your way. Whether it's snagging that dream job, diving into a new skill, or simply taking life at your own pace. Lesson number 4, respect. Ever noticed how when someone rolls by in a fancy car, you might think, wow, they must be cool. But deep down, you're actually thinking, imagine how cool people would think I am if I had that car. It's like a loop of admiration that never quite closes. This is what we call the man in the car paradox. Think about it. You're not the only one having those thoughts. Everyone else is too. So while you're busy fantasizing about impressing others, they're doing the same thing. It's a paradox because nobody ends up being the cool one in the end. Now, let's extend this idea to wealth. People chase after money believing it will buy them respect and admiration. But here's the kicker: it's the same old story. Others see your wealth and think, if only I had that money, people would admire me too. too. It's a never-ending cycle. But here's the secret sauce. If you want genuine respect and admiration, it's not about the horsepower of your car or the size of your bank account. Nope, it's about something much simpler and more powerful. Humility, kindness, and empathy. Yep, you heard that right. Being a genuinely good person, treating others with respect, and showing empathy. That's the real currency of admiration. So, next time you're tempted to chase after material possessions to gain respect, remember this paradox. Because in the end, it's not about what you have, it's about who you are. Lesson number 5, never enough. When wealthy people do crazy things. At a party thrown by a very rich person on Shelter Island, Kurt Vonnegut tells his friend, Joseph Heller, that their host, a person who manages a lot of money, earned more money in one day than Heller did from his very popular book Catch-22 throughout its entire history. Heller says, "Yes, but I have something he will never have, sufficient money." Bernie Madoff is the most well-known cheater in the world. But what most people don't know is that before he tricked people out of $65 billion, his business was making $25, $50 million a year in profit. Bernie was very rich, and rightfully so, owning one of America's most profitable privately owned businesses. He had a lot of wealth, freedom, and power, more than most people can even imagine. Yet he threw it all away because it wasn't enough. There is no good reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. Few of us will ever have that much money, but most of us at some point in our lives will earn enough money to pay for everything we reasonably need and often a lot of what we want. The hardest financial skill is making sure our goals stay put. If we always want more, we'll never have enough. Getting more will not make us happy. And trying to get more, like Bernie did, can also make us lose everything. Lesson number 6, staying rich. Being successful with money isn't just about making smart choices. It's mostly about consistently avoiding big mistakes. There are many ways to become rich, but only one way to remain rich. Being careful with spending and always staying cautious. If I had to sum up financial success in one word, it would be preservation. As Warren Buffett says, the top rule for making money is don't lose money. Many people accumulate a lot of wealth, but fewer manage to hold on to it. Keeping money requires different skills from earning it. You gain money by taking risks. You hold on to it by being afraid of losing it. That means staying humble and recognizing that some of your success comes down to luck. So, past success doesn't guarantee future success. To benefit from the effects of compounding, you have to stay in the game, keep investing, and remain committed. Much of Warren Buffett's success is due to the amount of time he spent in the game. Lots of us chase big profits only to end up with nothing. Instead, being patient and earning steady returns over many years leads to building wealth that can last generations. The key is having short-term fear that you could lose everything any day while maintaining long-term optimism that the more you stay in the game, the more likely you are to achieve great results. Staying rich is arguably much tougher than becoming rich. Lesson number 7, freedom. Having control over your time is the best reward money can offer. The ultimate form of richness is waking up and saying, I can do whatever I want today. People strive to become richer to boost their happiness. However, happiness is complex because we all have different ideas about it. But one thing that universally adds to happiness is having control. People want to steer their own lives. Being able to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want, is invaluable. It's the best reward money can provide. As Angus Campbell pointed out in his 1981 book, The Sense of Well-Being in America, having a strong sense of control over your life predicts positive feelings of well-being more reliably than any other life circumstances we've considered. Thus, the greatest benefit of money is its power to give you control over your time. At the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is self-actualization. Similarly, at the peak of the money pyramid might be autonomy. Morgan shares a story from his time interning as an investment banker to support this idea. He enjoyed the work and was happy to work hard, but he realized that doing something you love on a schedule you can't control can feel just as restrictive as doing something you hate. Lesson number 8, surprise. A quote from Stanford professor Scott Sagan is worth framing for anyone interested in the economy or investing. Things that have never happened before happen all the time. History is mostly about surprising events, yet it's often treated as a surefire guide to what's coming next. Can you see the irony? There's a mistake called the historians as prophets fallacy, relying too much on past data to predict future situations in fields where innovation and change are crucial. Having experienced certain events doesn't necessarily mean you can predict what comes next. In reality, it usually leads to overconfidence rather than accurate forecasting. Investing isn't exact science. It's a big group of people making decisions with limited information about things that greatly affect their lives, which can make even smart people anxious, greedy, and suspicious. Richard Feynman, the renowned physicist, once joked, "Imagine how much harder physics would be if electrons had feelings." The most significant factor in anything related to money is the stories stories people tell themselves, and their preferences for goods and services. These things are always evolving with culture and generations. Relying too heavily on investment history can lead to two dangerous outcomes. 1. You might miss the most impactful outlier events. 2. History might mislead you about the future of the economy and stock market because it doesn't consider today's relevant structural changes. One important point: the further back you look in history, the more general your conclusions should be. Lesson number 9. History. The most crucial aspect of any plan is preparing for the unexpected, not sticking strictly to the plan. Throughout history, we've seen good ideas pushed too far, becoming just as risky as bad ideas. Recognizing the importance of leaving room for error means understanding that uncertainty, randomness, and chance, the unknowns, are always part of life. The best way to handle them is by widening the gap between what you expect to happen and what could happen while still keeping yourself capable of handling challenges. Benjamin Graham is famous for his idea of a margin of safety, which he explained in great detail. A concise summary of his theory is this: the margin of safety exists to make precise forecasts unnecessary. The margin of safety, or you could call it room for error or redundancy, is the most effective way to navigate a world where probabilities, not certainties, rule. Making accurate forecasts is tough. Just as a card counter can't predict the exact position of a card in a shuffled deck, it's challenging to predict things like the average annual stock market return for the next decade or the exact date of retirement. They're essentially the same problem. The best we can do is think in terms of probabilities. People often underestimate the need for room for error in almost every financial decision they make. Harvard psychologist Max Bazerman once demonstrated that most people expect home renovation projects to exceed the budget by 25% to 50% when analyzing others' plans. But when it comes to their projects, they tend to believe renovations will be completed on time and within budget. Final lesson: nothing is free. Everything comes with a cost, and often the challenge with money is figuring out that cost and being ready to bear it. The trouble is, the price of many things isn't clear until you've faced it firsthand. You might often hear advice like, hold on to stocks for the long term. It's good advice, but do you know how tough it is to stick to that when stocks are plummeting? Like anything valuable, successful investing demands a sacrifice. But instead of dollars and cents, the currency here is volatility, fear, doubt, uncertainty, and regret, all of which are easy to ignore until you're in the thick of it. You can think of it like buying a nice car. You accept the ups and downs. Or you could choose something with less risk and lower rewards, like a used car. Or you might try something riskier, like attempting to reap the rewards of investing without dealing with the volatility that comes with it. Many investors opt for the third option. They try to get the returns without paying the full price. They trade frequently, hoping to sell before the next downturn and buy before the next upswing. But the money gods don't smile kindly on those who seek rewards without paying the price. Some might get away with it, like car thieves who evade capture. However, many more are caught and face consequences.